Hey there! Before we start the podcast, I need you to put down that wavebird and listen up.
I need money.
For a tenth of what the price of that wireless GameCube controller costs,
That should be like $5 if you got it off Shop Goodwill.
you can support me here at the podcast of Two Consoles Too Late.
I need to buy more games.
Your support gets bonus content like additional episodes, Discord server access, typewriter manifestos, and personal shoutouts on the airwaves.
I actually have a typewriter.
Vote on Patreon polls to see what video game I talk about next.
Nothing on Atari 2600.
So go to patreon.com/2consoles2late because what the world needs is more
Stick it! Hi, everybody.
Maybe what they're seeing and how they're seeing it, and also video games. I'm hearing more and more people saying the level of violence on video games is really shaping young people's thoughts.
And constant crises have shaken the entire world and have threatened in each case to bring on the gigantic conflict which is today unhappily a fact.
Non-programmable weapons buttons. Customizable feedback software.
Don't just buy a new video game. Make one. He doesn't have a PlayStation 5.
That's because he's Two Consoles Too Late.
Hello, and welcome to the Two Consoles Too Late podcast. I'm the host, Jackson Keebler, and I am Two Consoles Too Late. On this episode, nothing is true, but everything is permitted. What does that mean? Well, we're talking about Assassin's Creed from 2007 from Ubisoft. We're going to talk about the development of the game and the game itself and how it has gone on and been hugely successful with 12 mainline games as well as a Hollywood movie. And we're going to have some auction alert, and I got a little bit of an announcement I got to get off my chest. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go. I don't get political here on the podcast, but the intro does feature the voices of numerous presidents, past and unfortunately present, and to the point where I've actually thought about redoing the intro just because to have his voice start off this podcast is just kind of stupid. But anyway, good old Trumpo wants to impose a tariff on Canada and Mexico of 25%. And this article came across my Kotaku. It's written by Zach Zwiezen. I think I've featured articles by him before. New tariffs could lead to fewer physical games and higher digital prices. Currently, most video game discs are produced in Mexico, so whatever game discs are still printed and shipped out will likely cost more to buy due to a newly activated 25% tariff. Remember, publishers and other companies are going to pass the cost of tariffs on to consumers. So, good old Trumpo, his reach is now reaching the video game market with his economic brilliance. That guy,
Stick it!
my God. If you've ever read a certain book, 2 + 2 = 5, and after his recent speech, I'm scared, but the only thing I can do is laugh. So once again, good old Trumpo, you can
Stick it!
As I was putting this podcast together for Assassin's Creed, the one kind of reoccurring question in my head when I was doing this is Assassin's Creed a quote-unquote retro video game? And it was released in November of 2007. So it's almost 20 years old, so I'm going to give it the title of a retro video game. This game has spawned a huge franchise with 12 mainline games. The original sold something like 8 million copies, and the sequel went on and sold something like 12 million copies. So it's hugely successful, and it has a huge fan base. But as to whether it's retro or not, I'm gonna call it retro. All right, it's almost 20 years old. There's a whole generation that has grown up with these games, and there's a whole generation who is just starting to play these games. So that's always a thing of a constant debate here is, is this retro or not? So I am calling Assassin's Creed a retro video game. If you do not agree, that's fine. Just get on the social interwebs and leave a comment as to why you think it is not. Assassin's Creed was not originally Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed started off as a sequel to Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Ubisoft wanted to make a sequel for that game, and they put it in the hands of Patrice Désilets. And as he developed the game, he found, as the game was being made, that there was enough to have a standalone game and not have it be part of Prince of Persia. He based a lot of the story on Vladimir Bartol's book Alamut, and apparently the phrase "nothing is true, everything is permitted" comes from that book. So what was supposed to be a sequel to a very successful game became a huge franchise, and I found that very interesting. So I picked up a copy of Prince of Persia: Sands of Time for the GameCube at my retro video game store. And in the first 30 minutes of playing that game, you definitely got a feeling that, okay, Assassin's Creed definitely sort of came out of this, but Assassin's Creed is something completely different enough that it could have its own game. Assassin's Creed takes place in a historical setting, like all the games do. And the first one starts during the Third Crusade in 1191 AD, and you play as the assassin Altair, who is the descendant of Desmond Miles, a bartender who is at the behest of Abstergo, a company that is a front for the Knights Templar. The game has an open world design and parkour movement system. Now, as I was playing Assassin's Creed, I had the question, is this open world? And I would say yes. It's open world in the sense that when you're in the cities, you can pretty much climb over any building. So the cities and the towns in the kingdom are kind of your playground. There are some inaccessible areas, but for the most part, you can pretty much climb any building as long as, there are things to climb. So I always go back to Breath of the Wild, because when I think of open world, I think of that game, because that game is truly open world in the sense that you can go anywhere and do anything. That's my definition of open world. So while you can climb the buildings, you can't climb the mountains and the cliffs around you. And for that, we'll give it a pass. So yes, it is open world in the sense that you can pretty much go anywhere you want within these cities as long as you can climb them using this parkour system. Assassin's Creed is known for its social stealth mechanics in that you can hide in crowds, you can blend with monks and vigilantes. But my biggest beef with that is everyone in the cities are jibber-jabbering. It gets tiresome, hearing the same lines of dialogue over and over. You hear the merchants and the ladies who are poor and they want, some coins from you. It just gets a little annoying. So once again, I go back to Breath of the Wild is, no one talks in those games, and it really works. And unfortunately, in this game, everyone is just jibber-jabbering, and it just wears on you very heavy after a while. Now, the combat system of Assassin's Creed takes a lot of getting used to, and personally, I found it a little difficult. I am a button masher, and I just kept pressing attack, and that's not how you do Assassin's Creed. It's got a one-button combat system. It's very counter-heavy, and to get used to it, you just have to go to one of the three cities, Acre, Damascus, or Jerusalem, and just engage these enemies. And one place you can do that is someone in the town is being accosted, and they're surrounded usually by 4 guards. So you have to engage, these guards to quote unquote free this woman. And all the way up until the end of the game, I would engage these guards, and I would still get my butt kicked. It's just a matter of timing. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like a chain attack. You got to press the buttons at certain times. So the combat system of Assassin's Creed, for me, I found very difficult to the point where I just couldn't finish the game. I got to the last assassination, and you get surrounded by some heavy dudes, and they just kick the crap out of you real quick. The mission structure of Assassin's Creed is a huge source of criticism, as it should be, because it is very, very repetitive. It's just rinse, lather, and repeat. Basically, what you do is you leave the city or the town of Mysaev, the home of the assassins, and from there you go to one of three cities: Acre, Damascus, and Jerusalem. And once you arrive at the city that you want to go to, you have to sneak into the city. Usually you have to do it by pretending that you're one of the monks and you're praying, and then they just let you walk through, or you can parkour your way in. Once you are in one of the three cities, you have to report to the Assassin's District office or whatever it is and talk to the assassin there to get your mission briefing. Once you get your mission briefing and the hints as to where you're supposed to go to investigate your assassination, you investigate. And to investigate, you do one of many activities. You can either pickpocket someone, you can intimidate someone, you can eavesdrop on a conversation. There's also assassins that give you tasks like little, I wouldn't call them side quests. It's usually like a collect the flag sort of thing. So you have to investigate that way. And also, while you're in the city, you have to go to one of the numerous viewpoints to get a better, view of the city. And once you do that, you can see, places that you can investigate. Now, personally, I enjoyed finding the viewpoints, climbing the viewpoints, and synchronizing your map a little bit better. It's one thing in Breath of the Wild. Once again, I'm going back to Breath of the Wild when it comes to this game, and it's really not fair to compare Assassin's Creed to Breath of the Wild. But the towers in Breath of the Wild, you synchronize your map, and I see where that comes from now after playing Assassin's Creed.
You seem to know quite a bit about Tamir. Tell me what he's planning.
I know only the stories I tell, nothing more.
A pity. There's no reason to let you live if you've nothing to offer in return.
Wait! There is one thing.
Continue.
He is preoccupied as of late. He oversees the production of many, many weapons.
What of it? They're meant for Salah ad-Din. This does not help me.
That was just one example of the voice acting from Assassin's Creed, as you talk to Altair, also known as Desmond Miles. I just came from a raging kegger. Where do I find him? Well, you go to the shop and you will find him there. Okay. Yeah. It became a joke as I was playing this game that the main character sounds like he just came from a frat party, and all the people around him sounds quite ethnic, and I think that would have been kind of a red flag if you were talking to someone they didn't really sound like they were from the area. But that's just one of I would say many things I found with Assassin's Creed. The gameplay is repetitive. The combat system is rather difficult. There's a serious lack of variety. The graphics of the game I found wonderful. But there's no shops, there's no currency, there's no side quests, and there's no pickups. And, you can't really expand your weapons. Your ability you can do increased damage as you progress in the game, but your weapons don't change. And as you go through the game, there are these flags throughout the different cities, usually about like 100 of them. But there's no bonus for picking up any of the flags, and I'm a completionist. And I really wanted to run around the world of Assassin's Creed and collect all these flags, but it's like, once again, I'm going back to Zelda. It's Hestu's gift. There's just nothing for it. You just get more completion. And once you get more completion, you get nothing for it. So, yes, I am holding Assassin's Creed up to Zelda Breath of the Wild. Because that is a game where it's completely open world. There are side quests. There is a currency. And it's not just mainline story. And Assassin's Creed apparently, in Assassin's Creed 2 and beyond, moved beyond this game and developed more to the point where the second game sold more than the first. And I'd be curious to play it, but I'm not rushing out anytime soon to pick up a copy of Assassin's Creed 2. I recommend the game, definitely. But if you're going to play Assassin's Creed, I think the way to start is probably around the second or third one, not with this first one. The first one, the phrase I like to use is this game wasn't fully cooked, but it was cooked enough that it sold 8 million copies on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. All right, now this is me getting on my soapbox. As I was playing Assassin's Creed, my reoccurring thought was this game would be great as a Metroidvania. I think it could very easily be adapted into a side-scrolling Metroidvania, or much in the style of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Now, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, of course, once again, is from Ubisoft, and to take that formula of Prince of Persia: Lost Crown and put it into Assassin's Creed, I think would be hugely successful. Now, they did release, apparently, Assassin's Creed Chronicles, which is, I think, 3 games that it kind of does like the side-scrolling thing, but I don't think that they are quote-unquote Metroidvanias. So if anyone from Ubisoft is listening, this is straight from the horse's mouth here at Two Consoles Too Late. Do an Assassin's Creed Metroidvania like Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and you will make a of money.
Auction. Alert.
So on Auction Alert today, I'm featuring 2 Philips CDI Zelda games from 1993, The Wand of Gamelon and Link Faces of Evil. These were 2 games. I'm not sure if these games were part of the Zelda canon or not, but they are a collector's item. And this is coming from the Goodwill of Central and Southern Indiana. The auction ends on tomorrow at the time of this podcast. And currently, with 1 day and 6 hours left on the auction, with 18 bids, it's up to $452. I looked up these games on Price Charting, and the Wand of Gamelon CIB is $285.93. So with this other game, that's driving the price up. But the other game wasn't listed here on Price Charting when I did a search for Zelda CDI. I'm guessing it's going to go for at least $500. But these are very rare games. But once again, I'm not sure if they are canon or not. May 23rd through May 25th of 2025 in Oaks, PA at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center is Thy Geekdom Con. Now, this is also the same venue that holds the well-known Too Many Games convention, the premier East Coast retro video game convention next to Long Island Retro. But at Thy Geekdom Con, I'm guessing that Saturday afternoon, I don't have full details, a certain podcaster will be given a certain panel on retro video gaming and podcasting. So super exciting stuff here at the podcast. As details come in, I will let you know. And if you're on the East Coast and near Philadelphia and feel like going to a convention, be sure to check it out. It's an anime gaming convention. They also have tabletop gaming and vendors and all that good stuff that we all love and know. But thank you for listening to the podcast. Once again, I'm the host, Jackson Keebler. You can check me out on the interwebs. Just go to Google and type in Two Consoles Too Late, and there I will be found. There's no details on any of Thy Geekdom Con's websites about my appearance. So once again, as details come forward, I will put those out there. This song that you're hearing actually is called, I think it's Home in Florence. It's actually from Assassin's Creed 2, not Assassin's Creed 1. The music of Assassin's Creed is very dramatic, so I thought, why not throw in some of that dramatic music for this dramatic announcement, right? But just remember that nothing is true and everything is permitted. And as always, have a good one, I love you, and goodbye. So where Assassin's Creed really shone? Really shone? Try that again.